audio for everybody else, and I'm bringing in the intro music. So you guys on the live feed, just hang out while we rock out for a second.
I love that music, man.
That is your theme song.
That is badass. I love the music. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I should just let it play in the background just for a little bit longer while I fix everything.
Let it sit.
Let it simmer. Let it simmer.
Yeah.
How's your day today?
Oh, rough day, man. Rough fucking day. The F-bomb brings me to something. This is rated R.
It's always rated R. We have that listed everywhere. Explicit content.
Explicit content. The bread is live. I've got a forum.
God help us all.
But back to my day, man. It was a rough day, man. Called a bug from somewhere. I don't know if it's all this rolling or just not resting or just cold weather. But the last 2 nights haven't slept very well, and last night I didn't sleep at all. I woke up this morning finally, after I finally got to sleep. I think probably about 3 or 4 o'clock, and had 6 a.m. practice. And I got up, came down to the gym, opened it up, gave some spare keys out, told my blue belt what to do, and I came back home. I didn't get up out of the bed until 4:30 p.m.
You slept all wait. So that was 6:30. No, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Till 4:30.
4:30. And I didn't even sleep. I was just laid in the bed, slept a little bit. It was rough. Thank God for my beautiful oldest daughter, Megan. She took care of my youngest daughter, Leah. And I'm just lucky that Megan's home because my wife's out of town.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Megan came over and took care of Leah and let me rest.
So do you think that now running a school and trying to promote it is catching up with you?
No, hell no. And I've done a lot more than this, as we touched on another episode previously.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe my age is catching up with me. I can't do some of the things I used to do. I used to be a sexual goddamn Tyrannosaurus with a 6-pack of Bud Light strapped to my balls. I drink fucking 24 of these damn things. Sleep for 2 hours in a 48-hour period of time and ready to rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll.
So what is your take on Bud Light now?
Oh, Bud Light sucks. I've been drinking dinosaur piss for like 42 years. This is good stuff. What are we drinking here today?
Tonight we are enjoying the Sierra Nevada, the Torpedo IPA.
I said, fuck that. They're not giving us any money. We ain't showing them.
No, this is how we get people.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Well, that's how we get money, man.
Cheers.
Torpedo. Cheers. There we go. So that was my day. Literally, that was my day.
Sleeping was your day.
Sleeping and resting and thanking the good Lord for my daughter.
So what did she have to do with Leah all day today? Did she tell you?
I could hear it. My youngest daughter, Leah, is a nightmare. She is a go-getter. Her favorite word is no.
Oh, if you guys watched the last video we put up about the Friday lunch roll, check it out because she's a trip.
Oh, she's a trip. Speaking of trips, speaking of trips, man, we gotta address. Okay, first off, before we get started, there's a universal question that until it is answered fully by our viewers at home,
okay,
or by us, we will ask this same question every podcast.
Okay.
So here's the scenario. You are a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. And in this scenario, it doesn't really matter the level.
Okay.
But this is for you individually. So if you're a lowly white belt, then you're a lowly white belt. If you're a big, strong, athletic brown belt, you're a big, strong, athletic brown belt. If you're a world-class black belt, you're a world-class black belt. But you got to be honest. You can't change it. You can't. How do I say this without being?
No, just say it.
Just say it.
Say it.
If you suck, you can't answer this question as if you're good. Okay. So here's the question: you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, and you've been entered into the Kumite.
All right.
And in the first round, you draw Rulon Gardner. What the fuck do you do if you draw Rulon Gardner? Do you butt scoop to De La Riva? We still haven't got through this.
We have not answered. This is the universal question.
This is the universal question. I want to know from all you Jiu-Jitsu pajama wearing practitioners out there, mine included, I want to know what the hell you do if you draw Rulon Gardner in the first round of the Kumite.
Legal elbow and no walk off.
Is that your answer?
I just figured it was an MMA match and I messed up.
Yeah. I don't think that works.
It doesn't. I was just.
I don't think. Okay, wait a minute. I don't think you doing that to Rulon Gardner will work.
Oh, it definitely.
Remember, we have to answer this question as if it's us.
He is 300 pounds.
He's 300 pounds, and it is 2017. This is not 1994, 95. He knows what a fucking armbar is.
Yes.
He knows what a triangle is.
Why isn't he got his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu then?
Which brings us to our second comment today, our second subject. Ben Askren. Ben Askren, did you see this?
No.
Ben Askren declared himself a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and said, basically, if you don't like it, do something about it. What do you do? What do you think about that? What seriously, I'll keep it inside. And I think, and I may be wrong on this, that, you guys fact check me, send me a message if I'm wrong. I think Ben Askren is a brown belt.
Okay.
I think. So let's assume, since it's my podcast and I'm the one thinking it, let's assume that he's a brown belt.
Okay.
But he has decided he's a black belt.
He just decided out of nowhere that he's a black belt.
Ben Askren said, I am a black belt. If you don't like it, do something about it. That's paraphrasing Ben Askren.
And
Nicole Hunt and Eddie Allen are leaving the building, ladies and gentlemen.
they are.
They're leaving the building.
Practice.
Wonder Bread.
Wonder Bread.
So back to Ben Askren.
Bye. Hey, were you released from practice because there was a refreshing beverage for Nicole? You have to make an appearance.
Yeah.
So going back, Ben Askren, what do you think about that? What's your opinion? As a blue, so this is pretty cool because we're going to blue belt opinion on this matter.
So
see the spider monkey behind me? This is usually how our practice sessions end up. She crawls up my back.
And then,
I'm only here for the beer.
And then arm bars me and I'm asleep. And I guess Junior Wonder Bread would like one as well.
No, Junior Wonder Bread's not old enough. You're trying to get.
Oh shit!
You almost got arrested. Hell, you
Got
know.
here.
Almost got kicked off of YouTube.
You know Andrew Spotswood's probably watching this.
Yes.
He's a cop.
Flesh and blood.
Flesh and blood. He's flesh and blood.
Awesome geese.
Okay. So back to Ben Askren. Blue belt perspective. What do you think?
Man, I mean, who am I? Who am I to question?
Now remember what I said. My take on the belt system. I question every belt until a black belt puts a black belt around your waist, and as far as I'm concerned, well, you're a black belt.
So he put a black belt on his own waist.
But he's not a black belt. So he's a brown belt. He put a black belt around his own waist. So that's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's your opinion on it? What do you think?
Bullshit.
You call bullshit?
I call bullshit.
I have an interesting take on this. And it's because he added in the second part. If you don't like it,
Do something about it.
do something about it. I can respect that.
I know where your mind is going right now.
I'm just saying, I can respect that.
What would you like to do about it?
Well, I'm not doing anything about it. No, let me tell you why I'm not doing anything about it. Because just like the rest of you, some of the bitches, I can't do anything about it. Neither can you, and that's why Ben Askren should be a black belt. Nothing wrong with it. I have no problem with it. I think it's a good thing. Listen, if some of the ass clowns that have black belts today can be black belts, then Ben Askren can be a black belt. Oh fuck, it's like Halloween. It's like ants in Charlotte. Remember we talked about this? Like ants. They just run around all over.
So, you know what's funny? I was going to show you this later today. Is I actually tried to order a blue belt that fit me today, and they actually sent me a belt for my pants.
Oh, they sent you a real belt.
A belt for my pants. I know you can't see it right here. I'm showing. It came over, and I don't know if I was going to wear it or not, but actually, it holds up my pants really well.
Do you know how dweebish you would look going out into society with that fucking belt on? Don't do that.
I'm not going.
Did your wife let you out of the house like that?
She doesn't know the difference.
She doesn't. What do you mean she don't know the difference? You got a big bright Smurf blue belt on.
I know. I had it under my All Lives Matter except ISIS. Fuck those guys.
All Lives Matter except show them that shirt, man. That's a cool shirt.
All Lives Matter except ISIS. Fuck those guys.
Look, if you don't like this shirt, you can kiss my black ass. Okay, I like this shirt. I like this. All Lives Matter except ISIS.
Fuck those guys.
America. That's good stuff. I like that.
Can't get no better.
Look at that. I got it right there.
You got the flag on today.
Got the flag on. So this
Wearing the grunt style shirt proudly.
Grunt style, baby.
Representing.
Represent.
I like it.
America. I'll drink that.
America. So, what prompted the Ben Askren thing?
Well, because I was going through my Rolodex of foolishness that I keep at the house.
By the way, I just saw I just reread the Charlotte Observer article on you about the Rolodex of fighters that you had.
Really?
Do you still have that Rolodex of fighters?
No. There was a Charlotte Observer article on
your
me?
5-year anniversary at Fight Lab.
Are you serious?
Why would I shit you?
I'm touched.
I can bring it up and read it.
No.
Okay.
We're not even supposed to say that name on air, remember? It's supposed to say 864.
864. If somebody would just listen to the rest of the podcast, they would understand how much you pumped them up. But 864 it is.
Okay, so Charlotte Observer really did an article on
in 2014 celebrated your 5-year anniversary
with Fight Lab.
Yep.
Man, 864.
864.
That's about. I'd like to see the article.
And it gave the nicknames: the Pit Boss, the Cooler, and
really.
Yep.
Dude, that is pretty awesome. In the Charlotte Observer, you're big time when you're in Charlotte Observer.
You can't get bigger than Charlotte.
Scam Newton is in the Charlotte Observer a lot. Oh, Scam Newton.
I got nothing on that.
Are you a Panthers fan?
No, I'm a Steelers fan.
Okay, you're a man of integrity.
I am.
If you're a Steelers fan or a Patriots fan or a Broncos fan or a Cowboys fan, not the Cowboys, but if you're Steelers, Patriots, or Broncos, I can respect that. If you're a Panthers fan and you just discovered football somehow, when did the Panthers come out? Well, 90. Was it 90s?
Gosh, no. It was in the 90s. The PSLs went on sale. Maybe 97.
Okay, so if you were living under a rock and you just discovered football the year that the Panthers came about, then I can respect you liking the Panthers. Other than that, you're like scam. You're a scam.
Or ants.
Black belts, ants just all over.
So while we're on football, what the hell's going on with your Tennessee people? Rocky top, rocky top.
Oh, Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top. Woo! Rocky Top, Tennessee. We are getting ready to open up the floodgates of a can of whoop ass on the entire NCAA Division I. It's coming, brother.
It is.
It's coming. I hope all the last, especially you Alabama jerks, I hope that it has been fun for the last 15 years. I mean, I hope they've really enjoyed it.
And they must have.
Oh, they've had their foot on our throat. They really took advantage when forming that.
So I noticed your Facebook profile was the Rocky Top image You change your Facebook picture a lot.
I do.
Like multiple times a day.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff I got to cover. I have to show my loyalty to the Tennessee Volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
I have to show my loyalty to the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
I have to show my loyalty to Checkmat.
Mm-hmm.
I have to show my loyalty to my individual school, Checkmat Charlotte. And I have to show my loyalty to the greatest thing that ever happened in my entire life, which is my family. My wife, my kids. So I got to change the profile a lot.
I can't argue with that.
But I got to do it, brother. But Tennessee, it's going down, baby. We're back. We are back.
Predictions. Tennessee predictions.
Tennessee predictions.
Next 5 years. No. Scratch that. Next 2 years.
Next 2 years. I think next year we'll go 7-4.
Okay.
I think the next year we'll go. I think we'll probably go 7-4 again.
Brad's prediction.
And then I think.
Welcome to a new segment.
And then the next year I think we'll go 10-1.
10-1.
10-1. 10-1.
You heard it here first.
10-1.
Who would the one be?
I think that one's probably it's going to be one of our rival games. So here's the thing that people forget about the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Okay. We don't take part in the art of bitch-assedness, which bitch-assedness is an entirely different. That's a whole other subject.
Is that in Webster's?
Bitch-assedness?
Yes.
Probably not.
I think we should enter it.
Probably. I got the term bitch-assedness from Master Lloyd Irvin. He talks about it a lot because it's running rampant in Jiu-Jitsu.
Bitch-assedness.
Especially here in Charlotte. Bitch-assedness is an epidemic in Charlotte, boy.
Epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
Should we call the CDC?
They can't do anything about it.
Damn.
Can't do anything about it. If bitch-assedness runs.
Is it contagious?
It's very contagious. It could be in your gym. In fact, there's some disloyal son of a bitches down in South Carolina that are currently practicing bitch-assedness against one of my buddies. But that's another subject too. But back to the University of Tennessee. That's where we was going with this. The University of Tennessee, every single game has to put it on the line. We're the only school in the United States of America that literally almost every game is a rivalry game. Think about that.
You and USC.
Who?
USC.
USC. The Gamecocks?
No, the real USC.
Oh, the Trojans.
And
the real ones. Yeah,
yes.
You're right. I'm glad you said that. You just touched on another subject we got to
hate you can't call the University of South Carolina USC.
They shouldn't be considered a university. They have 10 students. Nobody on the football team is enrolled in classes. Everybody knows that. But Tennessee, look, we got Alabama rivalry game.
Oh, huge
rivalry game.
Huge.
Third Thursday in October every year. Florida, huge rivalry game.
Huge.
Georgia, the game between the hedges, huge rivalry game. Now that's not including the in-state rivalry game of Vanderbilt, the cross-state rivalry game of Kentucky, and the new rival that we picked up here in the last 10 years of South Carolina because of that damn no good for nothing Steve Spurrier. We have 6 freaking rivalry games, man. How in the name of God? Who was running the Goat Ranch?
And how could you not get a head coach for so long?
I know. Well, now we know those damn retarded ass athletic directors we had. But now we got Phil Fulmer as athletic director. Shit's about to change, but it's coming down. Next week, when we kick the show off, we're playing Rocky Top for the music.
Done.
Intro, Rocky Top.
I may have to contact the NCAA so that we do not violate a copyright and we lose all of our channel. But I will do that. I will call him. I will make sure.
All right.
And if I play it.
I'm going to talk to Leah Vera and see if we can't get Rocky Top made the official Checkmat theme song.
Is he a Tennessee fan?
Of course.
Leah
Vera likes Tennessee.
Just wanted to make sure.
I hope he's not watching this. Like, I really hope he never watches any of the podcasts, which I don't think he will. If he does, I'll just have to be honest with him. And I'll tell him about how Paulo Mushu suggested I do a podcast and use vulgar language. Paulo Mushu, Checkmat, North Carolina.
Vulgar language.
Paulo Mushu
gets viewers.
Yes. Would you say we don't get Leo Vera as a viewer? So what else we got? What else we got? What's on the?
Well, I was gonna bring. I mean, while we're in Tennessee, do you want to go there now, or do you want to save it?
Tennessee?
Tennessee, yeah.
Man, looks full speed ahead.
A little bullying action.
Oh man, you talking about the Keaton Jones stuff?
God bless him.
Dude, that is just so bad.
How? Okay, so what's your view on the Confederate flag?
Hold on a minute.
Stars and bars.
See, this is.
I'm from Pittsburgh, so I'm from Indiana, but my family's from Pittsburgh, so I have no affiliation. What's your view on the stars and bars?
On the Confederate flag.
Yeah. Did you watch Dukes of Hazzard?
Yes.
Did you love Dukes of Hazzard?
Yes.
Did they not just?
Dude, I had that. Listen, you want me to tell you two stories? Okay. So my uncle, his name is Jesse Jr.
Keep talking.
Okay. And so my grandfather's name is obviously Jesse, for all you people who couldn't get that. But anyways, my uncle Jesse Jr., big son of a bitch, about 6'6", called him Cyborg. So you can imagine how big this guy was. And he was just an irritable person. I mean, just downright mean sometimes. And my mom took me to a never meaning no harm. He's all you ever saw. Been in trouble with the law since the day he was born. Woo!
Yeah, the mountain might get him, but the law never will.
The only way they know how.
Now it's just a little more than the law will allow. God bless Waylon Jennings.
Was that Waylon Jennings?
That is Waylon Jennings.
I don't even know who the hell Waylon Jennings is. But anyway.
I'm gonna play that in the background while you continue.
Yeah. So anyways, my mom takes me to the fair.
Okay.
And while we're at the fair, remember I lived in Haywood County.
Haywood.
Yep. That just sounds redneck, doesn't it?
You can't, yeah.
You can't get any worse than Haywood County. So anyways, we go to the fair at Haywood County, and they're giving away all these little flags. Now, keep in mind, I'm a kid.
How old were you?
Man, I don't even know. Well, I was old and I was young enough to where I didn't know what a fucking Confederate flag was. And so this guy hands me a Confederate flag. Now, my mom didn't say shit. So I get in the car, and she's driving me back to my grandmother's house, which is where I lived. Well, okay, so therefore I was younger than 8 years old.
Okay.
Because I just started living with my mom till I was 8. Okay. So she's driving me back to my grandmother's house. Keep in mind, I'm on cloud nine. Number one, I didn't spend a lot of time with my mom. Number two, I just went to the fair. Just rode all kinds of rides, ate all kinds of popcorn, ate cotton candy. It was phenomenal time. So I'm happy. And we pull up Bryson Street. Okay.
Oh,
now Bryson Street, keep in mind this is Haywood County. There's not a lot of black people in Haywood County anyway.
No. And black person waving in a
but the majority of the black people in Waynesville lived one of two places. One of those places was Bryson Street, where my grandmother lived.
Okay.
So my mom's driving me down Bryson Street to take my grandmother's, and I'm waving this damn rebel flag out the fucking window. And my uncle lost his mind. I mean, this caused a just nuclear explosion right then on the spot. In fact, I think.
How old were you?
Well, again, I was younger than 8. I want to say I was about 5.
Okay. So you literally have no clue.
When I say I had no idea about a Confederate flag, I had no idea.
Look, you give a piece of paper to a 5-year-old, they're gonna wave it around.
Yeah, they have no clue. And to me, it was pretty. It was fucking red flag, had this X on it with these pretty stars, and
it is a pretty flag.
I was waving it around. I was having good. And then, actually, you know what? I think I had the American flag. I thought they were twins. I thought they were like brother and sister flags. I think I might even been fighting. And my uncle lost his mind. And that was the first time that I can remember when I had some forms of understanding that the Confederate flag didn't mix with me. Now, I still didn't understand why not, because my uncle wasn't mad at me. He was mad at my mom.
Okay.
So it's not like I got the cursing and I never got an explanation. But then I figured it out later on.
Mm-hmm.
I knew when I saw that flag that it was bad from that day forward. Okay. Now, you asked me my opinion on it. Now, I'm not going to wear it. I don't like it per se, what I feel like it stood for.
Wait, so if I got you a Christmas present of a Confederate flag T-shirt, you would not wear it? If I got you a Confederate flag
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely.
You're off my Christmas list.
Oh, well, that fucking sucks. But I do have this unique outlook. I do not want the Confederate flag banned. Absolutely under no circumstances. And I'll tell you why.
Wait, well,
I'll tell you why.
Please do.
I feel like if the Confederate flag is banned, then a piece of history that we do not need to forget is gone.
I agree with you 100%.
I've never understood when I hear people say, take down monuments, do this, do that, it's racist, get rid of it. I'm like, okay, how in the world are we ever going to, that's not a piece of history that needs to be forgotten. I don't want anybody to forget that. I don't want anyone to ever forget or be able to diminish what happened to my ancestors here in the United States of America on this soil. I don't want it to be diminished what people fought for. And yes, dumbasses, there were people fighting to end slavery. Yes, some was just fighting for the North. Yes, some was just fighting to be fighting. Some was fighting for political causes. But there were people, at the end of the day, one of the topics was slavery. And I don't want that to be diminished in any form, fashion, or shape. And when I hear people say take down monuments and flags, I'm just like, no. Now, do I necessarily feel like it should be flown at the state capitals? I don't think that's the best idea, but I have an opinion on that also. What the fuck? Why do you wait until tragedy to bring that up? I remember I lived in South Carolina back in 2001, 2002. It's 2002 or 2003. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know what it was. But anyways, my ex-wife and I, we lived in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay. And
fucking Confederate flags every damn where. And I had heard the Confederate flag was being flown at the state capitol. And I remember I said something then to people that worked in my industry and customers that I had. I would bring it up. I'm like, man, what? Why do you guys accept that? Why is that okay? Well, everybody just looked at me like I had two heads and a damn little wee-wee. Okay? Like I was a crazy person or something. So, it just amazes me that when there's tragedy, like the Charleston church shootings, people took that, ran with it, and the next damn thing you know, it turns into a subject of whether the Confederate flag shouldn't be flown at the state capitol. Why wait until then to say something? The damn thing shouldn't be flown, period. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. But don't wait in a time of tragedy. Just get on it now, get on it tomorrow, get on it the next day, and stay on it if that's really what you believe. But then there's the other side to it. I do know people, especially growing up in Haywood County, that other African Americans may look at it and call it bullshit, but I know it's not bullshit. There's people out there that they consider the Confederate flag part of their heritage, part of their history, and that doesn't necessarily make them a racist. If I say to you, well, I don't want people to forget what happened to my ancestors. And then you look at me and go, well, you're not a slave. But my ancestors were. And And then you turn around and say, well, I want to be able to fly my rebel flag because it's part of my heritage and my history. And I look at you and I go, well, you're a racist. And you say, no, I had a great great uncle that died in the Civil War. He was my uncle, therefore it's part of my heritage. That makes sense to me. I understand that. Everybody else may not.
Well, I can safely say that I had no ancestors in the Civil War because they all came over from Europe. And I do agree with your opinion. And this is where I might want to get Wonderbread's opinion because of the liberal arts viewpoint in college right now.
He's a terrible person on that. He doesn't have a very liberal arts view, I don't think.
Well, if you can just shout it out. The reason why we can't take down monuments and the reason why we can't take down flags is because if you remove things of history, history tends to repeat itself.
I agree, 110%. Especially with shit we got going on in America. Everybody's racist. Everybody. I don't understand it.
Well, you want to get back to Big D and not tweeting us back?
Man, I don't understand that guy.
I treated him
with respect. He didn't tweet me back.
Didn't even comment.
Didn't
even put you in the national brief.
I don't even want to talk about Big D. Okay, not right now.
Right,
we got to get back to Keaton Jones.
Oh shit! All right,
we totally got this. We apologize. So Keaton Jones.
We divert a little bit.
If you don't know, Keaton Jones was the little kid in Union County, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Mom filled him on the way home. He was crying.
Yeah.
Kids poured milk on him, poured ham down his pants.
Yeah.
And did all kinds of crazy shit to him.
Yeah. Said he had a haircut from the Civil War era.
Yep. And
terrible.
And within, I think, 30 minutes, it had been shared 18 million times.
I don't know. It was something.
It was something crazy.
I need our podcast shared 18 million times. That's what I need.
Amen on that, brother.
But yeah, it was bad. It was, it moved me to make a post about my experiences when I was a kid growing up in Haywood County, and I was bullied a whole lot. I mean,
really?
Oh man, it was terrible. It was
like, I mean, how?
Oh, terrible. Well, let me put it this way. When I went to live with my mother and her new husband, I moved out of Waynesville. Again, we already concluded that Haywood County didn't have a lot of blacks. Mm-hmm. The majority of them live in Waynesville. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then there's another town called Canton, and in between Canton and Waynesville is a little bitty town called Clyde, and it literally has one red light. Mm-hmm. And so I moved down there with her into Clyde, and Clyde had one elementary school, and in that elementary school, I was one of three blacks, of three African Americans, and then there were four biracial children at the entire school.
Okay.
In the entire school. And on our bus, we all rode the same bus. And from day one, it was bullying, fighting, racial slurs, physical abuse, verbal abuse. And I had a mother that everything was my fault.
Okay.
So it was a really, really bad situation. And when I saw that video of that kid, it moved me, and it made me make a post about it. And so continue on. So continue on with the recap. The video comes out. It goes viral.
Video comes out. It comes viral. The mother gets so much attention to her page that she makes it private. On the internet these days, people can capture screenshots of pages before things go private, and sometimes even after things go private. The collage of pictures was the family standing on the porch, one with an American flag on the left, one with a Confederate flag on the right. And then there was a picture of the husband holding up the Confederate flag. And at the bottom, it had the American flag that says, "We stand for the national anthem." And I believe the comment was like, what the fuck? And then all these people came out and trying to raise money for this kid with fake accounts, which blasted him into virality on the internet and on national news. And God knows, I mean, just by the stunt that his mom pulled, he's probably going to get the shoot video out of him for the rest of his life. So come to Checkmate Charlotte and defend yourself, number one. Well,
and a lot of celebrities were moved to, well, for example, the University of Tennessee football players, the quarterback and a couple of his teammates went and visited the young man, took pictures with him, said they made a buddy for life, said he was the little brother they never had. Snoop Doggy Dogg, T.I., sent him money. Dana White put up a Facebook message asking how to get in touch with him, was wanting to bring him out for a UFC fight. And what really broke this story was Bellator's one of their MMA fighters, Joe Schilling. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so this is what really broke it, is Joe Schilling from Bellator reached out to the mother and said, hey, I'm Joe Schilling. I'm a professional MMA fighter, a kickboxer. We're having a big event with Bellator and like to bring Keaton out. And she responded to him and said, paraphrasing, not quoting, she said, not interested, would prefer if you would put out our GoFund account.
Okay.
And Joe Schilling said, what the fuck? What does a GoFund account, you know, I don't understand. What does a GoFund account have to do with bullying and what I'm trying to do for your son? And she said, well, I'm a single mother. I need help with Christmas, blah, 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 blah. And so, you know, they went back and forth. Well, she said to him, what happened to us whites sticking up for each other against the predators? And then she come back and said, will you please, and then Joe Schilling, I think, called her a cunt. And you know, that's going to go over well on Facebook. We're going to get some heat for that one. But anyways, so I'm pulling it up right now, but he called her the C word, the hunt word with a C. And then
whoa, hey, simmer down.
And so then she come back to him and said, well, will you please delete that?
So, wait, no. Wait, did she say that? Really?
Yeah, well, I'm about to pull it up right here. So Joe Schilling is the one that really broke this thing open. And yeah, right here it is. So Joe Schilling says, she said to him, I'm sorry, so sorry if you think that, mister. This is an opportunity for my son. I'm poor, I'm not rich. He said, this is an opportunity for you, not your son. You just use your son's pain as a platform. Really, really sad. And it is your son who will suffer. Shake my fucking head. I'm no longer interested in being involved whatsoever. Shame on you. And she responded, what happened to us whites sticking together and helping one another against the predator? And he said, laugh out loud, you dumb cunt. Shot him middle finger. He said, I got a viral video for your dumb ass. And she said, please, can you delete that, please? Now, this is so bad on so many fronts. So let me tell you the part, and you know, the post, I reposted this whole thing, this whole interaction with her and Joe Schilling. And you know, what I put on my post was I said, man, oh man, shake my head. I can't decide which is worse, the mother's racist ass or the ignorance I'm reading towards the kid now, because it's the ignorance hands down. Well, this is what you're right. It's just ignorance, period. But this is what really concerns me about this. Bullying is real. Mm-hmm. Bullying is real. And until I sit down with that kid and he tells me that he was fraudulently, you know, putting this out there,
or why he was bullied in the first place.
Well,
obviously it's a small town.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with the kid's telling the truth and that he's bullied. He was being bullied. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to take his word for it.
100%.
And bullying is real.
Yes.
there's two things about this that bother me. So number one is this kid just went from a low point in his life of getting bullied to a high point in his life where he's walking on cloud nine. And I never got that.
15 minutes.
I never got that 15 minutes of fame. Well, I got bullied I'm talking about when I was a kid.
Okay.
But I got bullied when I was a kid, and it never got any better until I corrected it.
So what was
and this kid?
What was your bullying?
Well, hold on. He got shot up to the top. His emotions got to go sky high. He got to walk through the halls with Tennessee football players. He got Dana White coming to his defense. He got rappers coming to his defense. He got movie stars coming to his defense. He got political people coming to his defense. And then all of a sudden, because of his mother's ignorance, his life probably is getting ready to just plummet down below that low point he was at when he was crying on that video. Mm-hmm. Because kids are ruthless. Children are ruthless. Yes. The scary part, and his mother's example of this, is that children's parents are even more ruthless. Mm-hmm. And this is serious shit, man. And so, you know, the woman's Facebook that I got this off of, where she was posting what Joe Schilling said, this lady Claudia Alexander, and I went on her page and was reading just some of the ignorant shit that she was saying, and these were mostly African Americans talking about the son as if he is responsible for his mother's actions. This thing is being turned around now into a racial scapegoat. Now there's a large group of African Americans pointing a finger at this kid, calling him a little fraud, calling him a scam artist, calling him trash, calling him a racist, calling him this because his mother is a dumbass. Mm-hmm. And that bothers me way more than his mother being a racist cunt. Way more. Because he's a child. He's a kid. He doesn't know. This isn't his fault in any form, fashion, or shape. But this kid's life is, man, this is going to get bad. This could get really bad.
So why do you think that? These are just suppositions, but why do you think he was bullied in the first place? Was it because of his attitude at school? Was it because of his family life?
I don't know.
We don't know.
And to be honest with me, and this is just me being a victim of bullying, I could care less. I don't care why he was bullied. I just care that he got bullied.
Why were you bullied?
I was bullied for several reasons. Number one, I was ridiculously small. I was short. I was little. Number two, I was black.
Okay.
And it was tough because you got to remember, again, I used to live with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And up there, I had my whole neighborhood was black.
Okay.
And all my friends, in my elementary class, I had cousins and other black kids. Well, there wasn't a lot, but it was more than what I had in Clyde.
Yeah.
In Clyde, I don't remember. I don't think once I went to Clyde Elementary until I was in. From the time I was in fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, there were no African American kids in my class. Zero. I was always the only one. The only one in the grade. Yeah, the grade, let alone the class. Then I went to middle school, and my mother, out of spite, would not let me go back to Waynesville to go to middle school there. I lived in Clyde, so I could have went to Waynesville or Canton. She didn't let me go to Waynesville. She made me go to Canton. And when I got to Canton,
have you ever talked to her about that? Why? Or does it even matter?
Well, it doesn't matter at this point. It's another story. But then I go to Canton Middle School, and I'm one of 3 black kids in the grade.
Okay.
This is at the middle school. You're talking about at least 5 elementary schools combining. Clyde Elementary, half of Clyde Elementary, and then all the elementaries in Canton, which I think there was like 3. Yeah, there's 4 or 5 elementaries combining. And I get to Canton Middle School, and I pick up 2 more African American children, and there are 2 females. So I was the only African American boy and only one of 3 African American kids. And there, it didn't get any better until I got in 9th grade when I really started to shine in sports. But
what kind of bullying though? I mean, like what were you being bullied for? Race?
yeah, race. Well,
Solely race.
well, no, race. My mother was black and my stepfather was white.
Okay.
Which this is in 1990.
Okay.
That was unheard of in Haywood County.
Okay.
Okay. And then there were some other things there. And when you consider who you're talking to, I wasn't somebody said something, I wasn't one to keep my mouth shut. So that didn't help things. And I mean, it just snowballed. It was terrible. Listen, let me tell you something. If you guys ever think bullying is a joke, let me tell you this. And I don't want to go too far into this too much, but I can remember times seriously contemplating suicide. It was so bad. And I knew where my stepfather kept his gun. And I honestly considered it. And I'm not talking about like it was a fleeting thought through my head. I would literally sit up at night terrified to go to school the next day. We're not talking about getting bullied by kids in my grade. We're talking about 4th grade getting on a bus with middle school and high school kids and them in the back of the bus yelling nigger, throwing stuff at me, hitting me, yelling stuff to the biracial girl that was on the bus with me, which I'm not going to say her name. And then I tried to take up for it and I get the hell beat out of me. Bullying is serious. And you don't know how kids are reacting or what's going through their heads. And so now you got this kid who was bullied and everybody reacted the correct way. The United States of America reacted the correct way. That's how we all should have reacted. Everybody should have circled around and pulled together for this kid and did stuff for him and made him feel special. But then, because it comes out that his mother's a jackass, everybody does a complete 180 and says, let's head the other direction.
Fuck this kid.
Fuck this kid. Fuck this kid. His mom's a racist. He's white, so he's bound to be racist too. To hell with him. He's lying. Screw that.
And that's the problem I have with social media. Is because
it can flip that quick.
And you never know what the truth is.
Yeah, you never know.
You never truly know what really happened to that kid. You never really truly know what personification he gave off at school. I mean, some of the pictures are pretty obvious that there were some deep-rooted attachments to a symbol of racism. But in my opinion, and I don't know if you guys out there know what's going on in Canada about the whole gender pronouns and things like that, but I think especially in colleges and more progressive places like California, and you can't use the wrong word, you can't use the wrong symbol, you can't talk to women with your hands because it's microaggression. And I think that if we continue to go down this road of oversensitivity, that we are all going to be in a very, very bad place in the near future, because Sebastian Jung wrote a really good book it's called Tribe, and it's how people are related to tribes. And instead of breaking free of that mold and thinking of us as human beings and everybody is a human, we all tend to have tribal views of each other. And I think the smart intelligent people that can have inner dialogues with themselves can break free of the mold of society that tells them what to do and do not have certain attachments to certain symbols that bring up such strong emotions that make you want to hang somebody from a tree. And that's literally what has gone on in this country in the past. And the only way to change the future is to remember the past. And if you don't, and if you try to erase the history books of the things that have gone wrong, we are never going to learn as a species on how to truly coexist with one another and stop using stupid fucking terms like the N-word or, you know, any of these other denigrations of verbal sayings that are just consonants and vowels for us to relay messages to one another. I'm just going to say the word nigger because it is a verbal way for somebody to relay a message of a meaning of a concept. It's not even, it's a word, but it's a concept. It's a greater concept that people take and they morph into different meanings for everybody. So that word may mean something different for Jay-Z. It may mean something different for Michael Allen. It may mean something different for one of your children one day. It may
Keaton's mom may mean something different for her.
Yeah, I mean, words are just verbal things,
expressions.
Verbal expressions. That's simply what they are, and we have to learn to move beyond this, and especially in our small community, in Charlotte and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is to not get so attached to these words that humans have come up with. And once you stop placing so much importance on the word, it just becomes a word like and the. And then people stop using it because it has lost the meaning.
Well, it goes, you know, you're 110% correct. I agree with you, but it's always amazed me that in the most sophisticated country in the world, we can place so much emphasis on skin color.
Can you think of another word though that can give the emotional response to somebody as the N-word? Is there really another? I mean, if you called me a honky, fuck. What does that mean?
Well, I would think that most, especially the younger generations, if you said the word honky, they wouldn't even know what the hell you're talking about.
True.
But
cracker.
Yeah, and I don't even think they would. A lot of the younger generation, I don't think they would know that because that word is not sensationalized. The N word is
always been sensationalized. Yes, I agree with you.
Not just in racist terms, but also amongst my own community by continuing to use it amongst ourselves. That's kept it alive to a certain degree.
100%.
You know, the word cracker, I mean, I've never heard white people refer to white people as cracker or white people refer to white people as honky. I've never heard that.
I think it's cracker.
But you see what I'm saying? I've never
called another white person.
You've never you've never you never took that ER off and added an A.
Nope.
And then sensationalized it like that to have a special meaning between you and another white person.
But the same thing happens. Instead of saying nigger, it's nigga.
Nigga, yes. And it's been kept alive. I think in that way.
It's still alive.
Yeah, it's still alive. But no, at the same time, though, wait a minute. But at the same time, the origin of that word in the sense of in a derogatory manner, I don't know the exact date, but I would have to assume it would be somewhere before, during, or after the Civil War.
If I think of the word etymology, it came from the country Niger, which I don't even remember if the country was called Niger back in the day.
But my point is, it's probably only 150, 200, 250 years old.
Maybe.
That word. So,
but it's caused so much strife in those 250 years.
But, like you said, perhaps if it was left alone, it wouldn't have stayed alive if it wasn't sensationalized.
Wonder Bread, come up here real fast.
Yeah.
Jump on camera real fast.
You can climb back here behind us.
You being in a college setting, and I know you're not going to have the audio that we have, but for what you see right now at the college, I'm not going to say the college you go to. I'll let you announce any of that if you want to. What you've heard me and your dad talking about, what emotional response does that bring up to you?
You know, the word hasn't. See, I have a different kind of situation because I'm black, but I'm also white.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's kind of that issue of, one, am I allowed to say it? And if you ask different people, then they'll give you different answers. Like on my wrestling team, I always had they didn't really want me to say it. And my kind of argument was, fuck you, I can say it. My dad's black. My ancestors were slaves. I get to say it. And if I had to put like an emotional response to that word, it kind of shocked me when you said it, but that was you guys are having an intelligent discussion about it, so I guess it's okay. But
is it okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay for me to say it?
Yeah,
in an intelligent discussion.
Yeah,
I'm seriously asking from an education point of view and from a progressive college point of view, because colleges are moving into that sensitivity. Would you not agree?
Yes, and I feel like nowadays there are white people in college. Most of them are my friends who think it's okay to say that word as long as they don't use the ER. They think that it's okay for this.
Is that not the most ridiculous, just stupid thing? I mean,
they just think it's okay. And
where did that come from? We should research that, figure that out. Where did that come from?
I will. It's the funniest thing, because I fucking hate I'm going to say this on.
I think it's a geographical thing.
No, because it gets into much bigger.
No, I'm talking about the ER getting dropped off.
No, I'm going to even say like gay, because I've never referred to I have gay friends or I have black friends. I don't categorize my friends.
Yeah. That's fair.
You guys are my family. You guys are my friends. I'm part Sicilian, and if you think about what the Moors did.
So can we agree that you would have to be an ignoramus in the year 2017 to judge someone by A, their skin color, B, who they choose to love or bang, which would be their sexual orientation.
Correct.
Or C, who they choose to pray to. Are those not about the three most ignorant things that you can think of to judge someone off of?
Well, the first most ignorant thing is that we are all black, if you want to say it that way. The first humans recorded were brown and black people in the Iraq, Euphrates, Egyptian area. So if you want to think about Jesus, everybody wants to anthropomorphize Jesus as the white guy. Jesus wasn't white. Can we all fucking agree on this?
Well, we can agree that this podcast is going to get shut down. That's what the fuck we can agree on. After you said that shit, we're done.
But he wasn't.
For the record,
I said it. Sorry for the digression, but I mean, can we agree on that?
Yeah, we can agree on that.
All right. So,
Shakir, this is my man here. You hear him kicking this knowledge?
Fuck ISIS.
Okay.
Any disagreements on that?
No.
All right. So what does it matter about what color we are?
I have no idea.
Seriously.
I always use me as the example.
How
Okay.
can you have the same
Listen,
thing?
I always use me as the example. If you can't come up with a better reason to not like my mouthy, offensive, joke playing ass, then I'm black. If that's the only reason you can come up with not to like me,
they're ignorant.
then you are really freaking ignorant. You would have to be ignorant. I mean, I do all kinds of shit for someone not to like me. I can admit that. But the only reason that some people could come up with right off the rip, before they got to know me, before giving it a chance, was because I was African American. That is crazy.
Do people do that?
In today's society?
Has anyone done that to you lately?
You know what? I keep my circle so small. I keep my circle so small that I wouldn't really know. Let me, we were talking earlier about me being the first African American black belt in North Carolina. Remember earlier we was?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and you
didn't
wanted
get that joke, did you?
What, about touching you because I'm black? Nah, I didn't get it. I heard you. I was trying to ignore you. But we were talking about that briefly earlier, and you were saying that's a subject that we'd like to get into.
I definitely want to get into it.
And you just asked me if people do judge me because I'm black. If that's happened lately, right?
Correct.
Okay, so one of the reasons, I keep my circle small, and my world for the longest was just MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, Fight Lab, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, grappling. That's what my family. That's literally all my life revolved around. And you can ask him. I mean, if we wasn't doing Fight Lab, we were watching UFC. If we wasn't watching UFC, we were at Bellator. If we wasn't at Bellator, we were on the mats. If we wasn't on the mats, we were doing something with family. And my circle was big, but it was small. Everybody in my life revolved around jiu-jitsu, MMA, or family.
Okay.
And it got to a point, and this is basically when I moved down here to Charlotte. I almost forgot once I moved down here to Charlotte about racism, because I was just so engulfed in what I was doing. And here in Charlotte, it's so big, and people seem to be on such a, don't take offense, higher intellect than what I was used to coming from Western North Carolina, where there was a lot of open racism. I just totally forgot about it. Just everybody was getting along, and I mean, it was great. And then one day, and this ties into me being the first African American black belt. One day when I was a purple belt, a guy came into my school, him and another gentleman, and he was asking about him and his students possibly coming to my gym.
Okay.
And I was like, look, if you want to train, come on, man, let's do it. Let's join forces. Let's train. Yeah, fuck it, let's train. That's just how I am. I love training. And we got to talking, and he asked me, how long I've been doing jiu-jitsu, and I told him, since 2000, and I've been doing catch, since 1999, 2000. I started jiu-jitsu 2001, and it was a Brazilian guy.
Okay.
And he looked at me and he said, man, you're still a purple belt. I said, yeah. Yeah. This was in 2013 when this conversation took place. So at this time, I've been doing jiu-jitsu.
It's 4 years ago.
Yes. Okay. By this time, I've been doing jiu-jitsu 12 years. And he looked at me and he said, man, when you get your black belt? And I sort of looked at him, and I was like, I'm a purple belt. And he goes, I'll never forget this. I will never forget this in my entire life. And,
do you want to say who it was?
No, I'm not going to say who it was, but this is for all of my friends out there that are jiu-jitsu practitioners. This is the outlook. This is the impression that is given off. He looked at me and he said, in his Brazilian accent, he said, they don't want you to be a black belt. You know that, right? Do you remember me telling you about this conversation? Yeah. He looked at me and he said, they don't want you to be a black belt. And I said, because
you're going to be the first.
And I said, who? Like a dumbass.
Yeah, who is the they?
I said, who's they? And he said, man, look around you. He said, look on the posts when, and he used specific examples. He said, look on the post when Eddie wins the adult division. Look on the post when your purple belts beat black belts. Look on the post when your white belts win the blue belt division. He said, look at the post when people talk about whose people are good and whose people are not. He goes, they don't want you to be a black belt. And I said, why? And he goes, because you're black. Now, wait a minute. Before you say anything, this is a trick. You just heard Eddie say he remembers me telling him about this. Mm-hmm. So all you guys know, you know, I may twist things around to joke and kid, but you all know Eddie, and you know he wouldn't twist anything to laugh and joke and kid. This really happened. And when he said, this gentleman said this to me, and he was a black belt. He's a Brazilian black belt.
Is this somebody I know?
Yes.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter who it is. The point is that he even said this because at the time I didn't really know this guy this well. I didn't know this guy this well. When he walked into my gym that day, it shocked me that he even walked in because I had never really spoken 3 words to this man. And not only did he come in and talk to me about coming over to the gym, which made me really happy, but he also talked to me about this. He brought this up, and it floored me. And then I stopped and I looked, and I just looked at some of the people that had already gotten their black belts.
And you're a purple belt.
I was a purple belt.
So if he's asking you why you haven't gotten your black belt, why didn't you have a brown belt?
His point to me was part of the reason you're not progressing is because they don't want you to be a black belt. And hold on, even when he said it, and even like I said, he said it to me, and I sort of just went through one ear and out the other. And then I stopped. I thought about it, and I thought about the people in the area that had gotten promoted before me, because I could come up with 1,000 reasons at the time why I should not have been a black belt. In fact, today I can come up with 1,000 reasons back then why I shouldn't have been a black belt. But if I took those same reasons and applied them to other people that had gotten promoted, then I should have been a black belt a long time ago. Because they were no better than me. They had put in no more time than I had. Their skill set was no better than mine. They had produced less competitive people than I had.
And this was a Brazilian.
This was a Brazilian that said this. This was not a white person. This was not a black person. This was a Brazilian that said this to me. And it really made me stop and think. Now, me being me and coming from Haywood County, I'd always had this thing, and you know, I've always been really proud about that. I will not quit. You can ask him. You could ask anybody that knows me. I will not quit, especially if you tell me I can't do something, especially if you tell me that somebody doesn't want me. In fact, I will do it to the point. I will continue on to the point that it will become offensive.
Yes, you are. Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And so I basically, it lit a fire under me. It pissed me off, and it actually caused me to make some bad decisions in future points. But it really pushed me to push my people to be the absolute best. I wanted to make sure after the moment he said that to me, I said to myself, I will die trying to make the point that I'm better than that person, that person, that person, that person, that person, that person, and that person.
There's 7 people.
Oh, it was more than that. It was a lot more than 7 people. I'm just saying. I mean, I ran out of space. I would hit you in your chest if I kept going. But you see my point? And so you asked me if it's happened to me. You know, I can't. No one's done it to my face like when I was a kid. No one's. Or I can't recall a time here recently where someone walked up to me and called me the N-word or told me they wouldn't do something because I was black or no. But there's been situations and circumstances where I looked at it, or somebody else looked at it and said, you know, that's probably racially motivated. But my take on everything has always been, if I see somebody being racist towards me, then I'm either going to beat the racist out of them, or I'm going to make such an impression that they either admit that I'm their equal, or hopefully I'll have such an impact that they won't be racist anymore.
Have you ever beat the racist out of somebody?
Yes. You want a Brad life story?
Red life story.
I'm not going to give Brett. No, I'm not.
No. You fired that one off.
Look, we was in Asheville, North Carolina, me and Buck Nasty.
Okay.
And we're at a bar in Asheville. I can't remember the name of the bar. Gosh, it really takes away from the story because it was a great name. Anyway, so we're at a celebration with Buck Nasty and a couple of his friends that I didn't really know. And we're sitting at this table, this long table. There's probably about 15 of us. And on the end of one end of the table, there's this glass partition. And on the other side of the glass partition, one of Buck Nasty's friends is banging this girl.
What?
Yes, in the bar.
All right, then.
Okay. So on the other end of the table, one of Buck Nasty's friends wads up this paper cup and throws it at the glass. Bouncer walks over. And I see the bouncer coming. I'm like, oh, man. I'm looking back at the guy on the other side of the partition with the girl, and I'm like, oh, they're in trouble. Bouncer doesn't even look up at the glass. He comes over to the guy through the cup and says, hey, man, you got to go. That's exactly how he said it. I'm just telling you how he sounded. That's what he said. Hey, man, you got to go. And then Buck Nasty's friend looks up and is like, it was a paper cup. And the bouncer's like, I don't care. You got to go, man. I just got in trouble for this the other day. So he gets Buck Nasty's friend by the arm, picks him up, and they start walking towards the door. Buck Nasty is wasted. I mean, he's obliterated. So he gets stumbling over there to talk to the bouncer. So I'm like, this can't be good because he's wasted. He's going to go over there and he's going to get in a fight with the bouncer. This bouncer, by the way, was about 6'6". Huge dude. I mean, this guy was huge. Big arms, almost as big as mine. Just big. He's big son of a bitch. Okay. And so Buck Nasty's over there talking to this guy literally like this. Okay. And so I walk over and I'm like, Johnny, I got it. So I look at the bouncer and I'm like, hey, man, it was a paper cup. And the bouncer was like, nah, man, I just got in trouble the other day. Somebody threw a glass. And I'm like, it wasn't a glass. It was a paper cup. Nah, man, I just can't do it, man. He can't come back in. And I'm like, dude, really? Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't do it. And I'm like, okay. And so Buck Nasty's friend's outside. Buck Nasty walks by me and the bouncer, and he looks at the bouncer and he goes, this is shit. This place is shit. And you're shit. And he turns around and he walks back into the bar. So the bouncer is like a delayed reaction because he's not very intelligent. He was like, and he looks at me and he's like, did you just call me shit? And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, you did. And so he gets up and he starts yelling at Johnny. He's like, hey, come here. And so I'm like, dude, don't do it. He's like, no, get off me. Come here. And I'm like, don't do it. And so he's walking up behind Johnny. And I mean, he's like 5 feet from Johnny. I mean, I ain't got no choice. So I'm like, Buck Nasty, watch out. So Johnny turns around, spins around on point. It was beautiful. Body locks this bouncer. It's like in slow motion. Pops his hips in. Fives this dude through the air. Oh, the name of the bar was Beer Garden. It's still
Beer
there.
Garden.
Have you been to Beer Garden?
I have not.
Man, we gotta go to Beer. We should do a podcast at Beer Garden.
Done.
I think he'll let me in now. Anyways, so he fives this guy through the table. It's like in slow motion. Keep in mind that Beer Garden is like the bar, and then there's like this little social area, and there's like this little round table, and these two old people. They're like older than they're older than the Confederate flag we was talking about, and they're sitting in there trying to drink their wine, and Buck Nasty just fives this bouncer's big ass like right there. The table just
breaks the table. Shit goes everywhere.
Buck jumps on top of this dude and is just wailing on him. Okay.
And he doesn't even know why yet.
Who?
Buck.
No. Well, he did call the bouncer shit. Remember?
Yeah, but he just turned around because you were yelling.
Well, he turned around and he saw this big ass bouncer coming at me. He knew what was going on.
Okay.
So he files this guy, and he's on top of him, and he's chainsawing this dude. And another bouncer comes running like over from the side. You guys are laughing. This shit is real, man. It's going down in the A-ville. So the other bouncer comes running towards Buck, and he gets about 5 feet, 10 maybe 10 feet from Buck, and I run and spear double this dude, just spear double him right on top of him, and I'm just on top of him. This big son of a bitch starts to roll me over, and I put him in a triangle choke. In beer garden, I got him in a triangle choke.
Did you put him to sleep?
He was going to sleep, and then the manager, who was about this big around and about that tall, steps on my throat with a big ass bottle of something. I don't know what it was, and he's like, "Let him go." So I let the triangle go, and the other bouncers come up and they pick me up and they pick Buck up, and the big bouncer laid over there unconscious, and they drag us outside. And
so Buck had beat him senseless.
Buck had beat this dude down. He'd beat this dude down, and my dude was semi-unconscious from triangle. Like he was like out, but he was still moving.
Twilight, yeah.
Twitching like that.
Yeah.
He's twitching.
I know that feeling.
So they get us outside, and we get outside, me and Buck, and now they've thrown all of his other friends out, and like the bar was a mess at this point. And so we get outside, and in classic 2000 something, whatever this was, fashion, I decide that enough was not enough. So I start trying to go back inside the bar to try to get to the manager who was gonna crack me over my head with this big champagne bottle. And so the bouncers are trying to like push the doors closed, and we're trying to get inside. And of course, naturally, they called the police. Well, all of a sudden, you asked me if I'd ever beat somebody down for being racist towards me. Craziest shit in the world. All of a sudden, everything just goes quiet. Everybody's raising hell. And this little skinny white guy who looked like Eminem on crack. He had the big like the Kango hat. He had the Kango hat, had it turned around like to the side, had the big like oversized top, like the run. I mean, this dude looked like he had bought an outfit from Puma. You remember the old rap video, the old Puma outfit?
Oh yeah.
His was blue and white, like had the whites. I mean, he had the chain on. This white boy was decked out, and he comes walking through.
Can you say that again?
This white boy was decked out. He comes walking through he's in the bar, and everybody just got quiet. And he like separates the bouncers and the manager, walks through the door, steps outside. He looks at Johnny's friends. He looks at Buck Nasty. He looks at me, looks me up and down, and he goes, "Why don't you just go home, nigger?" And I said, and I quote, "That's it." Tore my shirt off like Hulk Hogan. And I grabbed him on the back of the head, elbowed him, got on top of him, and just chainsawed him until I couldn't chainsaw him.
Did he live?
You know, just like that dude that did the and jumped out in front of the car last week. I don't know. Crazy story. It wasn't the first time he had pulled some crap like this. I think he was like
so you knew this guy?
No. I didn't know him, but Buck Nasty and them knew him indirectly. He had pulled a similar stunt when he was in high school.
So he was a local famous guy.
He was a local famous
racist.
Racist.
Cocksucker.
Yeah, one of those guys.
You remember his name?
No. That's Buck Nasty. I bet you Buck Nasty knows.
Buck Nasty will know. We'll call him
Buck
out.
Nasty knows everything. Hey, listen. Speaking of some cool stuff, guess what's coming up? I think it's this weekend.
There is a seminar.
Oh yeah. We are continuing the Shit That Works seminar here at Checkmate Charlotte. 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. $20. Win on top.
If you cannot afford $20 for this man and this other man's instructions,
then you probably work at Fight Lab. I'm just joking.
Why'd you just fuck us like that?
Kenny, I'm joking. I was joking.
Tom, he's joking.
Tom doesn't work for me anymore because he's making $20. Okay, I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, wait a minute. Dude, stop laughing. It ain't funny.
You get free biscuits in the morning. appreciate those are good.
Blueberry biscuits, baby.
They did give. Hey, listen though, seriously. IBJJF No Gi Worlds is coming up.
And who just won? Oh, no.
They're coming up.
They are coming up. So do you want to talk about the JP?
The Pipe Doctor.
The Pipe Doctor. Pipe. Brett's predictions number 2 for the night. This is at let me get you time. Time is 1 minute 20. 1 hour 20 minutes. I'm sorry. Go. Brett prediction number 2.
John Piper will win No Gi Worlds. Dun, 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 dun.
With an arm drag.
With an arm drag to the crucifix, and will choke the bejesus out of somebody.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an arm drag. Definitely.
You get a microphone. Why an arm drag? Okay, wait. Tell me how you think it's gonna go.
Arm drag, crucifix, and he's gonna choke the shit out of somebody. Yeah.
The Pipe Doctor.
Everyone.
All right.
I saw a video.
He's got a mean crucifix.
of him choking one of the best black belts in the world the other day, crucifixing him. Did you see that?
Dean?
Hmm?
Dean?
No, John Piper.
No. But who is he fighting? Dean?
Bernard Ferrara.
No, I didn't see that. No.
Huh? Okay, it was an instructional video, but still, he was still doing it. You want to hear Bread Life story?
You got called out on that.
You want to hear Bread Life story?
Yes.
Okay, so
This is 3 Bread Life stories in 1 episode.
you remember this? What I'm about to tell? Okay, so I go to this guy's gym. Okay,
Oh God.
This one.
not gonna call his name.
Fuck it. Say it.
No, I'm not gonna call. I can't.
Why?
Because I can't.
All right.
I just can't. It's not right. Not right now. I'm pretty sure here pretty soon.
Everyone will know who this person is.
So I go to this guy's gym, and this was just me. I mean, he didn't invite me. I just wanted to go to the gym, right? And I get there, and he's showing the.
Brad, you come out on. Brad, come out here. He's showing you.
Well, he's showing the Spider Dookie guard, okay? The Spider Dookie guard to the De La Duva leg hold. And so then all of a sudden he breaks out into this ankle lock. Now I'm sitting there watching this guy do it. I've never seen any of his students do any ankle locks. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, he's just doing that shit because it's me. But whatever, he's a black belt. He can do it the hell he wants to. So he says, Brad, you come out here, man. I use you demonstration as partner. Everybody, this is Professor Brad. This is Brad. I wasn't a black belt.
Did he say Professor Brad?
No, because I wasn't a black belt. So he didn't say Professor Brad. He said, this is Brad. Very good jiu-jitsu. He showed I use him as partner. And so first you get into the Spider Dookie guard. And from the Spider Dookie guard, you do the De La Duva. And from the De La Duva, you're going to come into the single De La Duva De La X. And then you catch the ankle for the ankle lock. And so he gets me in the ankle lock. And so when he puts me in the ankle lock, I tap because he put me in the fucking shit. I'm not fighting back, right? And so then we go on with class. We practice it, we do it. It was a great technique. I enjoyed it. And his students, they did it too. And so then, we leave. Well, about 2 months later, I'm sitting at lunch with some of my buddies, one of them being the Pipe Doctor, John Piper.
Hey man, you get tapped by this Brazilian guy?
So yeah, the motherfuckers look at me, they're all laughing.
Oh,
and I'm like,
what's wrong with him?
I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And so they're like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Getting sick again. My wife's gonna leave me. So they're like, we heard such and such tapped you out. No, number one, you know me, I don't care if somebody taps me out. But I'm like, I've never rolled with a guy. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, positive. So they look over at one of the other guys. And they're looking at their phone. And they showed me a screenshot. And this son of a bitch had sent somebody a message and said, no, obviously he was typing this, but I'm going to use the, yeah, Professor Brett, he come to the school today, and I put him in this Spider Dookie guard to the De La Duva. And from the De La Duva, I go to the De La Diva X. And from the De La Diva X, I put him in this single ankle lock, and I tap Brett.
Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. I feel like I shouldn't be on camera while he's telling this.
And I was like, who in the hell does shit like that? But then this goes, you know what this goes back to? What Master Lloyd was talking about. Bitch assness.
Okay.
That's the type of bitch assness that goes on in the Charlotte area.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes.
But that's Brad Life story number 3 for you.
Well,
hold on. We got to go back to predictions.
Okay.
Pipe Doctor will be victorious at Nogi World. And I just want you to know, also, my main man, I don't get to talk about this guy a lot, Brian Edwards. You know Brian?
No, of him, I do not know him personally.
Eddie, you know Brian.
Yeah.
Swamp Fox. He's going to be competing. Brian is 2 times Master No-Gi World Champion at brown belt and 2 times Pan Am No-Gi champ at black belt. And this weekend, he's going to win the No-Gi World. He's going to win the No-Gi World title. Watch. I'm calling it right now. Those 2 dudes are going to be world champions.
1 hour and 26 seconds. Another Brad prediction.
1 hour, 26 seconds into episode 3 on the Bread's Kitchen podcast. I'm making a prediction. My man Brian Edwards is going to win the No-Gi World title. Him and John Piper, the Pipe Doctor.
So we are going to need somebody to write down our topics so we can start outlining them for people. But we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
John Piper. Then we were going into, we talked about No-Gi Worlds. We talked about Tennessee finds a coach. I think anything else you want to touch on racism and BJJ?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, I could go on about that for days. I mean, the simple fact that I was the first black belt African American, to me, that's sort of sad. When you consider when Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came to Charlotte.
Okay. Why do you think why is it sad?
It's sad. I mean, I got my black belt in 2014.
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu came here. Let's see, I started in 2001. And I want to say Snake started, what, 2 years before me?
Yeah.
99?
Yep.
I mean, I just think it's sad. I mean, I really do. I think it's sad. It's sad. I don't care how you put it. I don't care how you word it. I can't really put it into words. To try to convince me or anyone else that there has not been capable African American Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the state of North Carolina before myself that was worthy of a black belt is absolutely ridiculous.
So you got your black belt before Snake?
Yes.
And I forget who gave Snake his black belt.
Hoist.
Okay.
And I'm not even saying.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm not even saying that Snake should have got his before me. It could have been me getting mine before his. It could have been Renard getting his before both of us. It could have been someone else that I don't even know. But how many Caucasian black belts were there before 2014?
Ants.
In the state of North Carolina? Well, ants. So you're going to tell me, you're going to sit here and try to convince, better yet. And I love Joe to death. I love Joe Mercer. I love him. But I don't give a damn. I mean, I'm a black belt now. I can say what I want to. If you're going to sit here and tell me that there wasn't people that came up under him, that I wasn't just as deserving, if not more deserving, of my black belt before them or when they got theirs, then your ass is itchy. Bread saying 263. Your ass is itchy.
I'm gonna ask you to put together a list of bread sayings, and that is gonna be a whole section on your list.
I had one guy tell me that I wouldn't get promoted until a person that was basically blind, crippled, and crazy got promoted. And I remember thinking to myself, your ass is itchy. You're out of your damn mind.
You got anything on that?
No. See, I was with him when he was a blue belt. He was my instructor, and then he was a purple belt, and then I think you were a blue belt again. Because the metric system. And then
I did go back with that.
The metric system.
I did get demoted with that. That's another bread life story.
Fuck, I forgot about that one.
I remember Joe got so mad at me at a noggin one time. There's actually a video of this online. This guy, I was a blue belt.
He was a purple belt.
And he tried to put the electric chair on me. And I knew he could only keep me split. He couldn't crank my knee, and he cranked my knee.
Right.
And so I screamed, and they called it a verbal tap, obviously, which it was. And I was so mad. And I stormed off. And they was trying to find me to bring me back so I could go against the guy again because the referee made the wrong call. He should have stopped it. The guy shouldn't have been able to do that. And so they was going to let us go again. But I'd gotten pissed off and left. So they was just like, whatever. Well, then I come back, and they told me I was still grappling for third and fourth. And so the next guy I went against, it's just so stupid. I just blew his freaking leg out. Just blew, and it's on YouTube. And so I ended up taking third in the gi, and then I won the no gi, and Joe gave him my purple. He got mad. Then he got pissed at me when I guess the guy's bill came for his leg getting blown. Like he had already talked to me about like holding locks and stuff like that. So I'm back to blue.
So you definitely have the Eric Paulson view on holding locks a little longer.
That was back then. I'm not like that anymore.
Okay.
That was back in my foolishness. But back to the whole African American thing. I'm not getting off that shit. I'm not getting off that because that's that just and I didn't think a lot of it though when they told me that I was the first African American black belt. Now I feel like I've gotten a little bit. I feel like I mean,
it is official. You are the first African American black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in North Carolina, and no one can contest that. And if you can, send us proof at thebreadskitchen@gmail.com. And if you're lying, I'll send Edward out, and he will kill you.
You know what? I hope somebody.
No, I
hope somebody does
literally.
send. I hope somebody does send some proof.
I hope somebody does.
And I hope they do too. Like seriously, like
I don't know of anybody else. And the reason I want to get into the BJJF and Hickson's and all these other little places that don't want to acknowledge it. Why do you think that is?
Me being the first African American black belt, dude.
I
don't know.
We talked about it a little bit, but what do you really think the honest answer with that is?
I really don't.
Do you think that it was a Brazilian thing?
No.
Or do you think it was a local?
Well, it's not local. I mean, it's the entire state. Remember?
So this is local. I mean, North Carolina is still local.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about an entire state. We're talking about and just think about this for me. And in an entire state,
yes,
there was not an African American black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu until the year 2013.
Nope.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, ants running around every damn world, especially the snake getting his through hoist. If you don't get your black belt through hoist, there's always, from what I understand, there's always a good reason, because it could be a self-defense thing. I don't know, because there is certain curriculum that has to be met with the Hoist Gracie Network,
right?
Which is why I sort of like that. But even even with that, like I remember somebody saying something to me about him not being a black belt, and I was like, wait a minute, he's not a black belt, is he? But then I was thinking about some of his students. Like there was one or two in particular that's Eddie's age, and now they're brown belts.
Mm-hmm.
So think about how, if he started 2 years before me, and then he got his a year or 2 years after me, that's 15 or 16 years for him to get his, and then he has students that are brown belts that are his age.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And not crazy because they're brown belts, but again, crazy because in 2017, it took close to 13 years for there to be an African. I just think it's ridiculous. And let me tell you what I always find, and I think these two are intertwined. There is a certain part of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community. And this was so hurtful to me as a coach and as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. This was so hurtful, and it's still hurtful. I can remember being at a Naga and Eddie winning the adult blue belt division.
Okay.
As a kid, he was a green belt.
Okay.
And one of my purple belts beat two black belts. And then a couple months later, another one of my purple belts beat a black belt.
Okay.
And I remember someone mentioning my school on a Facebook post. God, I wish I had the screenshot. And underneath them mentioning my school, there was like 12 comments where people all said, yeah, they're really good athletes.
Okay.
And that is, no, wait a minute, hold on. Eddie, am I making this up?
No, it's happened in person.
It's happening. People said that to us in person. That's always been the.
You took that as a derogatory remark.
It's very derogatory.
Okay.
It's very derogatory because it comes across as, well, yeah, those guys over there, they're real athletic, and it was never. It was never. I've never had anyone say that to me about Nicole. I've never had anyone say that to me about Rob Tate, who was another one of my purple belts. I've never had anyone say that to me about Kenny, but I've had people say that to me about Eddie. I've had people say that to me about Joe Pacheco. I've had people say that to me about Ricky Rainey. I've had people say that to me about Jeremy Holloway. I've had people say that to me about Rodney, which Jeremy Holloway, that may have been the case because he did use a Holloway. But when people would say that, man, and I would talk to Dave Mansell about this.
Dave, you're coming on
it'll
very
be
soon,
interesting when we have Dave on here, because he can. Dude, you talk about hurtful, especially considering how much time they put in the gi, how much time they working the techniques, the lapels, the guards, the grips, everything, and then to have someone say that, especially in person, face to face, that was just so. And then,
did you feel that at all?
Yeah, I was actually kind of wondering if I could have a second to chime in on that. There was it might have been the same Naga that he was talking about, where there was a, who was it? Was it Joe or Ricky that submitted those black belts?
it was Ricky.
Yeah, me and another teammate, Derek Hyatt, were standing waiting for our cards to be called so that we could get our bracket sheet and everything. And a dude came up, and at this time, there was Renegade Fighting Systems, which was my dad and his partner Phil Wills working the MMA, and then there was I think it was Checkmate. It might have been no, it was called Real American Grappling.
Real American Grappling.
Yeah, was the jiu-jitsu portion. Well, we had big ass logo on our backs that said Real American Grappling. Someone didn't make the connection that it was Renegade, and so they came over and informed me and Derek that there was a bunch of super athletes at Renegade Fighting Systems that were just wrestlers and gis that were about to be in our bracket. I guess they didn't realize that we were those.
You were those people.
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of the similar issue, not just with they saying that we're athletes and gis, but wrestlers and gis particularly hurt for me because I was in a gi before I ever wore my school's wrestling singlet.
Right.
I spent a year training under him in jiu-jitsu before I even touched the mat in wrestling. And so for me, that was always something that we kind of had to fight. And it was almost insulting to me because I put more work, he'll tell you, I put way more work into jiu-jitsu than I ever did in wrestling. And so it was hurtful to be called just a wrestler or just an athlete.
And you know, the funny part about it is this. I've heard the exact same thing said about Lloyd Irvin and his school up in Maryland.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
And I've read Lloyd Irvin touch on this subject.
Do you think we need to touch on this more often?
Well, yeah, I don't know. You know what? You know, a lot of people just wouldn't care. I mean, that's a good out. When you're getting your ass kicked, I guess that's a good out.
Whose phone was that? We have a silent phone.
Oh, that was his. He should know the rules.
You should know the rules of podcasting. But, I mean, do you think that needs to be touched on more often?
I don't know.
Do you think it need? I mean,
Joe Hirsch used to tell me to just say fuck him. Don't worry about it. Just that's what Joe used to tell me. He used to tell me why do you let it bother you? But it was bothersome. It was bothersome. And then when you go back to the
I understand.
It's just because I feel like they're intertwined. I think a lot of times people they look at in jiu-jitsu, they look at African. I mean, I heard about DJ Jackson. Oh, he's a great athlete. DJ Jackson is a beast in jiu-jitsu. He is a monster in jiu-jitsu. But
Agree.
I mean, he's beat Gary Tolan so many damn times that it ain't even funny. But how many times do you ever hear DJ Jackson really mentioned?
But why has he not been to Abu Dhabi?
DJ Jackson?
Yes.
I don't know. Has he been to Abu Dhabi?
I don't think so.
I don't know. We have to ask him. I'd love to have him on a guest. That'd be pretty cool.
If I'm wrong, correct me, please.
I wonder if we at Nogi Worlds. Probably. Wouldn't you think?
I would expect so.
Yeah. You think John Piper could arm drag DJ Jackson?
He arm dragged the shit out of me, and I knew exactly what he was going to do. So
that brings me. I'm gonna take a side question here. What do you guys think about Metamorphosis?
Metamorphosis. Oh, is that's the one?
That's the one with striking.
That's Eddie Bravo, isn't it?
Yeah.
EBI.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to do backwards.
I love EBI. Don't you like EBI?
I like it.
Yeah, EBI is pretty cool, man.
I love watching it on TV.
I love EBI. I love EBI. I love anything. I love anything that promotes grappling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, anything. And I think the EBI. I think it's a great. It's a great event. It's a great event. It's something new. I think at the end of the day, though, if we're ever going to get this sport into the forefront, we need to just get down to the damn nitty-gritty and quit bullshitting.
Well, I think the IOC has officially adopted Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as a sport now, and it will be included in, I believe, the 2000 and wait, we have Winter Olympics this year. No, 2020, summer 2022, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If I read that correctly, BJJ will be in the Olympics.
I think it's a temporary sport that'll have the opportunity to be in the Olympics. I don't think it's actually going to be. He did a paper on this.
Did you?
Yes.
It's not going.
Can you send that to me?
It's not going to be in the Olympics, right?
Okay.
It's just a temporary.
It should be. Yeah, I think it should be.
So you don't think it's you don't think it's going to be in the Olympics?
No, and I don't think that it should be necessarily.
Why?
Well, after talking with a couple people who are far more qualified than I am to speak on the subject, like Professor Roddy Ferguson. Professor Roddy Ferguson. Apologies, but he seemed very adamant that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu should not be added because of similar ways that it fucked up the sport of judo.
Judo, yeah.
Issues there. So, yeah.
What do you guys take on it?
I didn't see the issues at first, but after talking with him, it seemed like one, it's just going to disorganize the sport further, and two, who are we going to get to compete in the Olympics? I mean, I could obviously because I've never been paid to do jiu-jitsu, but I imagine it would be a similar situation like with boxing where pros can't do it, and so the best in.
Fuck, dude! Don't get me started on the NBA and the Dream Team and the basketball.
Exactly. That's a bunch of bullshit. I never understood that.
Yeah, it's pointless.
So,
I think that grappling should be in the Olympics.
100%.
I don't think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the format that we have it in the gi and IBJJF should be in the Olympics. No. I think that grappling in the gi, grappling without the gi should be in the Olympics. But we need to come up with a better damn.
It is not an Olympic sport.
Yeah, we need to come up with a better rule format.
Rule formats. Who do you think is better out of everybody that you see now?
Abu Dhabi.
I can't agree.
Hands down.
I can't disagree with that.
Hands down, Abu Dhabi.
I can't disagree with that.
Hands down, Abu Dhabi. But this is the thing that kills me about grappling and the rules. Just get down to the nitty gritty. The problem with grappling and jiu-jitsu is that it can turn boring as hell in a heartbeat. And so just get down to the nitty gritty. Start penalizing passivity.
So can jumping off a high dive board.
No, because when you watch the sport of high dive jumping, you know what you're getting. You're watching a person climb up a ladder, walk to the edge of a board, jump 2 or 3 times, and do some type of acrobatic move.
Fencing.
Okay. With fencing, you know what you're getting. You're getting 2 swords, 2 guys with masks on and swords and blah, 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 blah.
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. You know what you're getting. Here's the problem with jiu-jitsu. You think when the 2 people walk out there, you think you're getting what happens in the UFC when 2 people hit the ground. But what happens? You get one sits down to his ass, the other one stands over top of him, the other one puts a spider dookie guard on him, okay? And then he holds on for dear life for 5 freaking minutes until he can offset his balance, get an advantage point, and then he wins by advantage. And you, as the consumer, you're sitting there going, what did I just watch?
So you think it's going to be boring?
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's why we don't need to be in the Olympics under this format.
I view it just like what you and I did out there, and I have no more pleasure than watching the intricacies of a roll, especially with you and a blue belt and Nicole and a blue belt.
That's you.
That's you.
That's not the average consumer.
And again, they're moving. They're grappling. Even if what you're watching, if look, you could take listen, you could take that roll in there that we just watched with Eddie and Tarsus, put it on whatever online and sell it, and you might actually get some buys off of it. But you could also take the finals of some of the IBJJF gold medal matches And if people could watch it first, they'd be like, I'm not giving you a dime for that shit.
I will agree with that.
Because nobody wants to sit there and watch two guys in the Spider Dookie guard fighting for an advantage.
Yeah, but they will in the UFC just because you can start throwing punches.
Why do you think the format of college wrestling is not in the Olympics? It's boring compared to freestyle because guys get in there, one gets the takedown, or there's no takedown, and then the other one, they fight for riding time.
It has to be.
It turns boring.
It has to be because of points, and it has to be because of backline.
It's because of riding time. Because the guys,
yes.
you get awarded in college wrestling for that riding time. So it gives the impression the guy's not trying to turn him; he's just trying to ride him. So, now we both know from being wrestlers that shit is strenuous, and the guy on bottom's getting his ass kicked.
I wrestle.
Yeah, and you okay? Well, then you know the guy on bottom, he's getting hammered, he's getting his ass kicked.
Okay.
But watching it from a viewership standpoint, nothing's going on. It's boring. That's why you would never have collegiate folk style wrestling in the Olympics. And you want to know what's amazing about that? This is sort of like jiu-jitsu. Look, you can take two blue belts and have them roll, and it's the most exciting thing in the damn world.
Yep.
Just like high school wrestling. You can take a high school wrestling match and watch the high school state finals in North Carolina, and you're like, man, that's some good shit. That's some great stuff. And then somebody says, well, you want to go watch the college match? You'd be like, yeah, man, I just watched the high school state finals, and it was kick ass, so let's go watch college. And then you get there, and it's boring as hell. And that's what happens in jiu-jitsu. You watch two blue belts, two purple belts, you're like, man, that is phenomenal. And then the black belts come up, and it's the Spider Dookie guard. But you don't want Spider Dookie guard. You want to see arm bars, you want to see leg locks, you want to see flying shit.
That's why I think steroids should be allowed in the UFC. That's why I think steroids should be allowed in NFL.
Yes.
Because I don't want to see 230-pound weaklings battling it out. I want to see 300-pounders knock the shit out of each other. And if I'm going to watch a heavyweight jiu-jitsu match, I'd rather watch Brock Lesnar go against Cain Velasquez in a straight jiu-jitsu match and just watch the destruction.
Like John Piper does.
Like John Piper does.
John Piper. Hey, guess what?
What?
We're out of time, bro.
Are we? You don't want to talk about? We'll save these for later.
What are we going to talk about next week?
Well, I figured we roll into UFC Charlotte's coming up, right?
Jordan Rinaldi, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Move to Las Vegas. You can't really claim Charlotte as your hometown.
Yeah, but he lives here now. He's back.
I know.
He's back.
I know. Much respect. Hey,
he's back.
You are the man.
You're the man, Jordan Rinaldi. Well, he's second.
Demetrius Johnson.
No, John Piper. John Piper's the man.
Oh, he's the man.
The pipe doctor.
Okay.
And then Jordan Rinaldi.
And then we have to talk about Mighty Mouse.
We're going to talk about Mighty Mouse next week. We got some good stuff on Mighty Mouse, man. He's the king.
And we didn't talk about Nicole at Worlds.
Nicole Hunt taking bronze medal at the World Championship, Masters World Championship.
We'll
talk about her.
We will post. Let's plan on getting. I mean, I have 4 mics, so let's plan on getting her in to talk about the match.
Do we have to? She's so mean.
She's very mean.
I didn't say that.
You agree, don't you?
I don't.
You coward.
She's an angel.
You are a coward.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd love to talk to her and see what she thought of. I mean, I can probably even get the match up on TV on YouTube, and we can watch it together and just comment. Other than that, we're good until Tennessee finally inks the deal with the coach. Then you guys are.
It's
good.
inked. We're good.
Is it signed?
It's signed, sealed, and delivered. He's Tennessee Orange.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
And remember, we're going to enter next week. We're going to enter with Rocky Top. We're going to talk about the no-gi world results next week.
Yep. Can you write that? Right. I'll try to make a note on that. So for all of you live people out there, we are going to sign off.
Did we have people watching?
We did have many people watching.
We did?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to sign out with this because it can get much better than this.
What are we signing out with? Oh. What's his name again?
Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings.
To you video people, we're out. Peace.